Irresistible are nature's sequences. The seeds of sins renounced sprout from hid soil. The evil cast from our hearts once more we face. Our dead selves come to slay our living soul.
Yes, but there's a semicolon after face. So it's the evil cast from our hearts once more we face. And then our dead selves come to slay our living soul. So this is it's a problem that Mother speaks to us so often about these sequences of nature that we carry with us from the past.
Hmm.
These seeds of sins that we have already renounced now come up from hidden soil. Interesting. And that evil that we had thrown out, we have to face once more. It's very powerful because we think that we've gotten rid of something and then it comes back in a subtle way. And we see it, oh, I don't have complete control over that anymore. I have to go back and revisit it. So now he'll speak about what we're living in.
A portion of us lives in present time. A secret mass in dim inconscience gropes. Out of the inconscient and subliminal arisen, we live in mind's uncertain light and strive to know and master a dubious world whose purpose and meaning are hidden from our sight.
Well, it's very clear, isn't it?
Yes.
Nothing more to say, really. Uh,
Yes.
except maybe that this dubious world. Did you see that Putin had put out a 4,000-page article?
Yes.
Wow,
I didn't read it, but I heard
I
about.
got the gist of it. Yeah, and it seems that these negative forces, if I'll call them that, are
Mm.
really planning on something. And this guy who's projected that every winning president for 20 years, he says that Kamala Harris is going to get in. And I cannot see that. I know the polls, I study them very carefully. It
Mm.
even seems that the Congress is going to be Republican.
Mm. Mm.
So I don't know what's going on, but something's going on. Shadalu told me that he was quite certain that they would replace Kamala Harris,
Yeah,
probably Michelle Obama, but it didn't happen.
it didn't happen. That was interesting.
Very interesting, yeah.
I don't know what's.
I don't
Yes.
either.
What did you? Sorry, I didn't catch what you said about in 20 years the presidents.
This man who was on YouTube
Hmm.
had predicted the correct president for 20 years. He even predicted that Trump would get in 2016. And
Hmm.
now he predicts that Trump's going to fail and Kamala Harris is going to get in. Very,
Hmm.
very strange. We don't really know what's going on. That's the truth of it. We
Yes.
see these polls where Trump is way ahead in almost every state that counts. And
Hmm.
he's predicted to have 312.
Hmm.
And that's far above, that's a blowout according to the past presidencies.
Hmm. What does Shraddhalu Das? Did he say anything about what he thinks might happen or?
No, I didn't ask him, but I saw something from him today to Rade.
Hmm.
And I'd like you to see it, but you'd have to keep it absolutely silent.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll send you Radha's message for the 24th and Shraddhalu's reply.
For the 24th.
November, yeah.
Okay. Uh,
Siddhi Day.
okay.
Okay?
Okay. Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Oh, so let's go on now. Above us dwells.
Above us dwells a superconscient God, hidden in the mystery of his own light. Around us is a vast of ignorance, lit by the uncertain ray of human mind. Below us sleeps the inconscient, dark and mute.
And we've gone over the inconscient many times already.
Yes.
But the way Sri Aurobindo is phrasing it here is that we want to know and we want to master this dubious world, but we live in this uncertain light of mind, and therefore we don't know what the purpose and meaning of this world are, and they're hidden from our sight. And then he goes on to say that above us, the superconscious God is dwelling, but he's hidden in the mystery of his own light. What a great line. Oh. So the divine veils himself in his own light, and around us is a vast of ignorance, lit by the uncertain ray of human mind. And below us sleeps the inconscient, dark and mute. This is as applicable today as it's ever been, these statements. So,
But
yeah,
but
question.
no, I was reading ahead. Shall I continue?
Yeah, please.
But this is only matter's first self view, a scale and series in the ignorance.
So, finally, Sri Aurobindo resolves it for us. And he says, this is only the first self view of matter. So now we understand better because it's a scale and a series in the ignorance. And that's where we are right now. We're in that total ignorance. But now these marvelous lines come.
This is not all we are or all our world. Our greater self of knowledge waits for us, a supreme light in the truth conscious vast. It sees from summits beyond thinking mind. It moves in a splendid air transcending life.
Oh, and to give us courage again. So our greater self of knowledge is waiting for us. And it is the supreme light in this truth conscious vast. It sees from summits beyond thinking mind. It moves in a splendid air, transcending life. And now the greatest line, it shall descend.
It shall descend and make earth's life divine.
And that's how he ends that one great passage. And this is why we came, to change this earth to life divine. So it shall descend. And it has already descended. And that's what you're going to see in this letter from Shraddha. So please continue on.
Is it encouraging? Is it positive, the letter?
Very, very positive. In a way, it's correcting Radhe.
Truth made the world, not a blind nature force. For here are not our larger, For here are not our large diviner heights. Our summits in the superconscious blaze are glorious with the very face of God. There is our aspect of eternity. There is the figure of the God we are, his young, unaging look on deathless things, his joy in our escape from death and time, his immortality and light and bliss.
So, here on earth, he means, are not our large divine heights. Our and then there's a semicolon. Our summits in the superconscious blaze are glorious with the very face of God. Now you said there is, and I can understand that, but I would almost keep them on the
Hmm,
same tonality. There is our aspect. There is the figure. The
hmm.
figure. So we can read it both ways, of course.
Okay.
The figure of the God we are, his
Hmm,
young, unaging look on deathless things. And that's us. We have to have that unaging look on deathless things and forget all about death. And this is something that Mother is very insistent on in this new book, New Words of the Mother. I'm reading it all the time because she's giving answers to actual questions from sadhaks and people.
hmm,
One girl, she says, you should get married because there's no place for you here. There's no reason for you being here.
hmm,
Mother's very clear. But that's a blessing, you know.
hmm,
It means that the soul was not ready to take up this yoga yet.
hmm,
And so Mother was letting her know that she could go out and get married. So his young unaging look, his joy in our escape, his immortality and light and bliss. So we have enough time to go to the next page, 485.
Our larger being sits behind cryptic walls. There are greatnesses hidden in our unseen paths that wait their hour to step into life's front. We feel an aid from deep indwelling gods. One speaks within, light comes to us from above.
Now that's a much better reading.
Hmm,
You're getting the feeling of the flow, and rhythm is so important in poetry. Sri Aurobindo says it's the main thing in poetry,
hmm,
rhythm.
hmm,
And when we see all this garbage that's called poetry now and has no rhythm,
hmm,
no meaning actually, but no rhythm especially. And so we see, and you read it very well, there are greatnesses hidden in our unseen parts because they're not available to us yet. They're not visible to us. But they wait their hour to step in the front of life. He uses that word front very often in Savitri. When we front something, we face it straight on.
hmm,
You feel an aid from deep indwelling gods. Interesting, he uses the plural gods.
hmm,
Here is where the Hindu, I would
hmm,
say, mythology or philosophy comes in very clearly.
hmm,
We do have that aid at times. Look at how Ganesh helped Mother,
hmm,
and look at how this other man Sumati was telling me about. I knew about Madan Lal. Madan Lal raised millions of dollars for the Matrimandya
hmm,
structure.
hmm,
There was another man mother would call from time to time and say, I need money.
mm,
And she would only have to tell him, and the money would flow to her.
mm, mm.
So beautiful. So one speaks within, that one is the divine. And light comes to us from above. So we'll do a little more and then you can read it all.
Yes. Our soul from its mysterious chamber acts, its influence pressing on our heart and mind, pushes them to exceed their mortal selves.
Yeah, but that's where you wanted to emphasize a little more. So this influence that's pressing on our heart and mind pushes them.
Mhm. Okay. It seeks for good and beauty and for God. We see beyond self's walls our limitless self. We gaze through our world's glass at half seen vasts. We hunt for the truth behind apparent things.
Yeah, I would say apparent things, not appearances.
Apparent, ap-
Apparent. So,
apparent things.
yes, so let's go through that now. So, first he says that our soul is acting from its mysterious chamber. And that is the phrase that Sri Aurobindo coined, the psychic being. Its influence pressing on our heart and mind pushes them to exceed their mortal selves. And then look at this, three all caps, good, beauty, and God. The essence of each word, it seeks for good and beauty and for God. He doesn't miss a beat, ever. We see behind these limitless walls of self, our limitless self, and we gaze through our world's glass at half-seen vasts. We even hunt for the truth that is behind apparent things. Everything clear? You seem to be
Yes.
okay. Good. So we have a couple minutes. Let's go do a little more.
Our inner mind dwells in a larger light. Its brightness looks at us through hidden doors. Our members luminous grow, and wisdom's face appears in the doorway of the mystic ward. When she enters into a house of outward sense, then we look up and see above the sun.
And we'll end there. That's good. So we see that our inner mind, and he speaks of the inner mind in the life divine in this way. This mind of pure intelligence has behind it, so he's speaking of a mind of pure intelligence that has behind it our inner or subliminal mind, which senses directly all the things of the mind plane, is open to the action of a world of mental forces, and can feel the ideative and other imponderable influences which act upon the material world and the life plane, but which at present we can only infer and cannot directly experience. And then there's one, well, there are many, but I'll give you just two more. Inner mind is that which lies behind the surface mind, our ordinary mentality, and can only be directly experienced apart from the riches in the surface mind, such as philosophy, poetry, idealism, etc., by sadhana, by breaking down the habit of being on the surface and by going deeper within. And lastly, the inner mind is something very wide, projecting itself into the infinite, and finally identifying itself with the infinity of universal mind. Those two were letters on yoga. The first one was life divine. So, and we see that its brightness looks at us through hidden doors. Our members grow luminous with the face of wisdom, and appears in the doorway of the mystic Lord. And he says on himself, I use the word mystic in the sense of a certain kind of inner seeing and feeling of things, a way which to the intellect would seem occult and visionary. For this is something different from imagination and its work, which the intellect is familiar. He has a lot to say on occult, but when she enters into our house of outward sense, then we look up and see above her sun. We could do this thing again with all different references and everything, but we got a little bit of it, and that's all I can hope for. So
Yes.
please read from the beginning.
Irresistible are nature's sequences. The seeds of sins renounced sprout from hid soil. The evil cast from our hearts once more we face. Our dead selves come to slay our living soul. A portion of us lives in present time. A secret mass in dim inconscience gropes out of the inconscient and subliminal arisen. We live in mind's uncertain light and strive to know and master a dubious world whose purpose and meaning are hidden from our sight. Above us dwells a superconscient God, hidden in the mystery of his own light. Around us is a vast of ignorance, lit by the uncertain ray of human mind. Below us sleeps the inconscient, dark and mute. But this is only matter's first self view, a scale and series in the ignorance. This is not all we are or all our world. Our greater self of knowledge waits for us, a supreme light in the truth conscious vast. It sees from summits beyond thinking mind. It moves in a splendid air transcending life. It shall descend and make life, earth's life divine. Truth made the world, not a blind nature force. For here are not our large diviner heights. Our summits in the superconscious blaze are glorious with the very face of God. This is our aspect of eternity.
There.
There is our aspect of eternity. There is the figure of the God we are. His young, unaging look on deathless things, his joy in our escape from death and time, his immortality and light and bliss. Our larger being sits behind cryptic walls. There are greatnesses hidden in our unseen paths that wait their hour to step into life's front. We feel an aid from deep indwelling gods. One speaks within, light comes to us from above. Our soul from its mysterious chamber acts, its influence pressing on our heart and mind pushes them to exceed their mortal selves. It seeks for good and beauty and for God. We see beyond self's walls our limitless self. We gaze through our world's glass at half seen vast. We hunt for the truth behind apparent things. Our inner mind dwells in a larger light. Its brightness looks at us through hidden doors. Our members luminous grow, and wisdom's face appears in the doorway of the mystic ward. When she enters into our house of outward sense, then we look up and see above her sun.
Excellent reading.
Thank you.
Very, very good. I'll send that to you now.
Thanks. Thank you, Naraji. I'll see you next week. Namaste. Thank you. Be well.